Okay, I'll spend the first few minutes talking about this CRUD testing, or actually the R is not, the read is the search test, so it's the add, delete, and update. I sent this attachment, the PDF, so it's fairly straightforward, but I saw that a few groups are still having problems. So let's just go over it. And I'm going to not. The reason I sent the code was to not spend the entire class going over it, so I'm going to do some copy paste if necessary to do it faster. But I want to go over it conceptually. Okay, the first one is the add course, which will be the create method. There are two create methods inside of your controller. One is the get, and the other is the post. And the one that we are interested in is this one. And it's bringing over the course ID, course number, title, and course credits from the view into this method here. So we can do the model state validation and then basically send this into the method to do the work. It's much easier to do the testing on the model side, so that's why I basically moved these two lines of code into this, and then I have a Boolean variable that comes back as true or false as to whether, so if this try works, then obviously it succeeded. If not, I just send back a message saying that it failed. It sends back this Boolean value. Now you can do more sophisticated testing through the try to see where the failure occurs with the catch, but this is a simple option that's faster to do for most simple clauses like the course clause. So what I'm going to do, and you need to have access to the database for each of them. So I'm going to, so the two lines of code that you need to basically take out and exchange is this. So since you have this PDF file as well, I'll just copy this and yes, Jason. I'm not sharing? Okay, let's see. Okay. So I'll just repeat the last statements that I made. So just make sure that these two, it's basically these two statements that you are providing to the where is my that I'm providing now inside of this method So I'll go inside my course class. So inside the model, I'll add this in. Obviously, I wouldn't have to add this reference to the database if I already had one, but since if I don't, then I add this in. I'm sending back a nullable Boolean because I initially want to start off with a null value, not a true or false. And then if it succeeds, then I send it over. Okay, so this is for the add. Now, before I do the test, I said the simplest way to keep the data in the test database constant is to add both your add and delete one after the other. So for that, so as far as what happens, what changes here, if these two are changed. Okay. So I'll comment this out to show you what's changed here. Okay, and in the document that I sent over, what do you need to do over here to, instead of these two lines of code? Call the method. You already have the object, so all you're doing is course dot add course. Now it's returning a Boolean, so a nullable Boolean, which is whatever the add result, and you can say, well, you can use some if statement here. If it fails, so if not add result, or if add result is false, I guess if it's maybe because it's nullable, I guess I need to check it against false. If it is false, you might want to send some kind of error message, else you do whatever you do with the successful operation. So that's to use it in the controller. The same thing you do for your delete operation. So I'll go to delete, confirm. So over here you have these two lines of code. Remove and save. Instead, I will use this delete method here. So the same two lines in the add, it was courses.add, and then you save the changes. In this case, it is remove course and save changes. So I'm just going to create this method, which is fairly similar to the add method. So I'm going to find the course ID, the course object, remove that course, save, and then say that the delete succeeded. This is in my course class. Okay, and then in the controller, the same thing is, instead of this, I just call course dot delete course, and delete succeeded, or whatever. And then I can again do an if statement, and I'm not currently having any view, so but I could have like a generic view, delete succeeded. do something else, basically provide an error view. Direct to error. Okay. Right now, obviously, there's nothing that's there. So I have my two delete and add methods, and since you're already here, I'll just go through the edit as well. Any questions on this? I'm basically just making it testable. That's it. So over here, it's these two lines of code. It's and this basically where it says it checks to see if anything has changed in the values of the state, and then it uses the modified values. But we can sort of explicitly test it. But what I've done instead here is the same thing. Just took those two lines, put it inside this method, and then have this Boolean. Okay. So I'm using lowercase course. So what does it mean about the type of the method? It's whenever you have lowercase, it implies what? Is it the class or the object of the class? It's the object of the class. So what does it imply? That methods I'm creating are all? Or what? Instance methods. Okay, so they are not class methods. So that's one difference compared to what we had. Okay, so I'll set up a bool edit succeeded. If okay, and that's pretty much it for the changes to the class and the controller. The last place is the test itself. So I need to go to my course test. Okay, entity state doesn't exist, so I have to have the using statement for system.data.entity. Okay, the last piece is going into your test, course test class, and this is the end of class. I have a series of test methods. I've combined the add and delete. So again, I need access to. Yeah, because I need to bring back the course object. The one that I need to delete, I need to get it back so that I can apply the delete method. Okay, so this will add test 101 object and then delete that object. So just to make sure that it's being added, I'm going to put a breakpoint right here. I'll build this so that the test shows up, and then I'll put a breakpoint right here before I call delete so that I can actually see that object being created on the database, and then I will continue this, have it run through. You understand what I'm doing here, right, in this test method? Yes, no? How many of you understand what I'm doing? Okay, Tim?
Course, and then I'm supposed to do this, assuming that the one that you guys database is actually the same one that you created.
Yeah.
So going down, querying basically for that course based on the number, storing it in new instance of the course.
Yeah, I'm basically getting that. This one, I don't know if it's necessary. I just did this to basically clean it out of whatever was there previously, so that I get this object from the database and I can actually delete that particular object. Okay, so if it has built, I should see the add and delete course test. Right-click, debug. But before I do that, let me go to the database, my test database, and right-click on this. Well, okay, so I have 7 rows here. If I run this, it should add this. If I stop it, I'm going to debug, so it can come and stop after adding. Okay, so I just added with this test 101 test course with some course credits, and this add method here inside course is the one that actually goes in and adds it to the database. And you can see that I'm basically just saying database courses table dot add, and whatever object I sent in, it's getting added. So if I run this, you can see it added in this test 101. Okay. If I continue running this test, it should come to delete course, and then inside over here, I basically remove that course. Okay. So now that gets removed. That's the way I can keep running this multiple times and having it pass. Obviously, if I don't stop it, it keeps passing. But if I now go into my database, it's as if nothing has happened on it. So what we are trying to do is keep the test data set static so that our tests keep running. The last test obviously is the edit test, and for that, let me go there. So this test method here, and a couple of groups had asked me, what I'm doing here is I'm basically giving a new set of values for I cannot change the course number because that's something which is like the alternate primary key. So I want that to remain constant. But the others, these two are going to change. And then I call the edit method, which is in the course class, which actually checks to see if there is anything that's been modified. And the way I have modified it is after I get the course from the database, I basically change the values to right here. So I go to the database, retrieve a course object from the database, set the values to new values, new course title, new course credits. So when you go inside the edit method, when you check this, it's going to say that it has been modified, right? So that's how it's going to save the changes. And after it saves the changes, I come back and what do I do? What am I doing continuing on? If you want it to be in the same state as previous, you have to reset it back. So I'll again put breakpoints before I get to this second part of the edit test. So I'll have a breakpoint right here. Okay, so I'll debug this test. Okay, so at this point, action result is true. So how do I know that something has happened? If I go and run this, what tells me that it has actually worked? Yeah, it changes this. And then if I continue this on, okay, gets changed back. So at this point, I should just be able to keep running this, all these tests. You should always run multiple of these tests, not everything that's there should be running all the time. So that tells you that the new code that you entered or I created now is not affecting whatever was there previously. Okay, so how many of you have multiple of these done and running on your projects now? Okay. Okay, does anyone have questions on this? So all of you are in good shape with the CRUD testing. If you are having questions, you have to ask me so I can address it. Okay. Any other questions on this? Okay, I'll stop with this and I'll come around, and if you have questions,